It'd be a great shock to have me showing back up again. People talk about electability. If I do become your nominee in Tampa, I will, in acceptance speech, challenge the President to 7 3-hour debates with a timekeeper but no moderator in the Lincoln-Douglas tradition. I will concede in advance that he can use a teleprompter. After all, if you had to defend Obamacare, wouldn't you want to use a teleprompter? There are 3 reasons, and I'm just telling you up front, I'm a pretty good strategist. There are 3 reasons he's going to accept. The first is he announced for president in February of 2007 in Springfield, quoting Lincoln. The second is he's a graduate of Columbia, graduate of Harvard Law, editor of the Harvard Law Review, the greatest orator in the Democratic Party. How does he look in the mirror and say he's afraid to debate some guy who taught at West Georgia College? The third reason is practical. As many of you know, I'm a student of history. Unlike the President, I've studied American history. When Abraham Lincoln announces in 1858, he's been out of office for 10 years. He only served 2 years in the House. He was a state legislator before that. He was announcing against the most famous senator in the United States and the presumed next president. And he said to Douglas, "We got 105 days left. Why don't we debate every day?" And Douglas said, "I don't think so." So Lincoln took up a pattern. Wherever Douglas went, Lincoln would show up 1 day later. And presently, Douglas began to figure out the news coverage was always Lincoln's rebuttal. And so after about 2 or 3 weeks, he wrote Lincoln and he said, "All right, I'll debate you." There were 9 congressional districts. He said, "We're not going back to the 2 you've already been in, but I'll debate you in the other 7. That's how this started. It was widely covered by A back then and printed in virtually every newspaper in the country. Lincoln had the debates reprinted as a book the next year, which was a major step towards his winning the presidency. I would argue that it is, since the Federalist Papers, the finest collection of discussion about the nature of freedom that you'll see in American politics in 200 years. So let's remember how Lincoln got Douglas to decide. If the President has not accepted by the time we get to Tampa, in my announcements, in my acceptance speech, I will announce that the White House, as of that moment, is my scheduler. Wherever the President goes, I will show up 4 hours later. And in the age of talk radio, blogs, and instant television news, I doubt if they can take the pressure for more than 2 or 3 weeks. But if they would rather have me chase him all the way to Election Day and have a country watch a man afraid to defend his own record, I think that will work equally well. So either way, I think we have a couple microphones. Let me take questions for a minute or two, if I could. We'll go back and forth.
Hello.